And when you look at this video in slow-mo, it's pretty clear that Ryan Reynolds does not want to be in this photo.
Yeah, we've lost some time.
Hi and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Tashti Floor, journalist, Hollywood truth teller, and your voice of reason in a town built on delusion. Is Ryan Reynolds trying to shade Justin Baldoni in his latest movie, Mayday? It certainly looks like it. And did he just reach a new low stalking regular people on social media? This is really disturbing. And yesterday, Blake and Ryan went to a Wrexham match together. So why did Ryan pretend that his wife wasn't there? Also, Megan Thuy, the journalist who wrote the hit piece on Justin Baldoni in the New York Times, posted a video about how proud she is of her work. And we have to talk about all this disturbing news about Jared Leto. Why did it take so long for people to react when we already knew he was a creep a long time ago? Before I get into all of this, I wanted to just say thank you so much for watching my video yesterday where I talked about the Golden Globes. If you missed that, you should watch it. It's a really fascinating, crazy, nuts Hollywood story that seems to never end. And I'm personally very invested in this story, so I will probably keep on reporting on it whenever there's news coming out. I'm working my way through the entire lawsuit at the moment. As I said yesterday, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association is suing the owners of the Golden Globes, the ones they sold the Golden Globes to. And I've read through half of the 130 pages of that lawsuit already, and their dirty laundry is coming out. My big question is now, what will happen to the Golden Globes in 2027? Will they still be aired? Who wants to be associated with anything this corrupt, this dirty, this schemy, this complete joke? Anyways, let's get into it. So someone sent me a video this morning of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively at a Wrexham game. I did a little research and it looks like Wrexham was playing in New York City. That is the soccer team or the football team that Ryan Reynolds owns together with Mac Robb, his business partner, who's also an actor. And of course, they're attending a lot of these matches together. And I looked at Ryan Reynolds' Instagram story, and of course, there is a photo of him and his pal Rob Mack. But from this video that Darla sent me, thank you so much, Darla, it's clear that Blake Lively was there at this soccer match with her husband. So here is a video of Ryan and Blake when someone else is taking a photo of them, probably some fan or whatever, wanted a photo of the two of them together. And when you look at this video in slow-mo, it's pretty clear that Ryan Reynolds does not want to be in this photo. Look at his body language here when he's just trying to get away from Blake and she is grabbing onto him, pulling him in really hard, and of course smiling for this photographer. I think what we're witnessing now is Ryan Reynolds trying to distance himself as much as possible from his wife, and I bet you he's asking her not to post any photos with him at the moment. He is desperately, as you could see here, trying to escape his wife. I think this video in slow-mo here explains everything going on between the two of them right now. Blake is hanging on to her husband like, save me, I have a famous husband, you should hire me again. And Ryan is like, get away from me, I'm not gonna get any work as long as people associate me with you. Anyways, this is pretty disturbing. I've spoken about this a while ago, but it caught my attention again. Someone on Reddit posted this again. And it's clear to me what's going on here. So, as you know, Ryan Reynolds has a movie coming out on Apple TV. It's premiering in September. And there's been a little bit of marketing around that movie, but Ryan has not pushed it himself. He hasn't even posted the trailer on his Instagram. I believe the reason for that is because Apple TV told him not to. They don't want all the haters to come out and ruin this movie for them. Anyways, this is the interesting part. So Ryan started shooting Mayday around spring of 2024. That was in the middle of all the drama going on the set of It Ends With Us. And we already know that his marketing and production company, Maximum Effort, is involved in this film. There's no sign that they're actually doing the marketing for the film. I'm sure they were signed up to do that, but Apple TV was like, maybe not. Let's just like do that ourselves now. But anyways, what I'm about to show you is so sick. So in 2019, Justin Baldoni directed a movie called 5 Feet Apart, and it was produced by the Wayfair Studios. Here is the thumbnail for the teaser of that movie. Two people in the snow laying on their backs, as you can see. So what does Ryan Reynolds do when he's creating a poster for Mayday? He is copying this exact photo. So this is the official poster for Mayday with Ryan Reynolds. That is not a coincidence. This has Ryan Reynolds written all over it. He is obsessed with Justin Baldoni. He just can't stop. This makes me believe that Mayday is probably filled with one-liners from Ryan Reynolds trying to shade Justin Baldoni. I was not going to watch that movie, but now I might have to, because I'm 100% sure that Ryan rewrote a lot of the lines in this movie, as he always does. And this time again, he did it to bully Justin Baldoni.
I did no such thing!
Anyways, talking about bullying and intimidating people, this is a disturbing story as well. So Jer O'Donnell, thank you, Jer O'Donnell, for contacting me and sending me this, which is another crazy story with Ryan. So Jer is really good at DIY and budget decor, and that's what he does on his Instagram account. But he was also a fan of Ryan Reynolds and his movies. But then after he learned about who he really is, like the rest of us, he stopped liking him. And he posted this on his Instagram. And then he added this caption. It's so disappointing about Ryan Reynolds. I really thought he was the coolest dude in Hollywood, made lots of funny films, actually very funny himself, not a bad straight actor either. Owns a gin company. He's in one of my favorite Christmas movies, Just Friends. He hangs around with Rob McElhenney. He was a top of his game, had everything in life to be grateful for, and to find out what a horrible, sniveling, jealous, conniving, cruel rat he really is kind of heartbreaking. Kind of like finding out Olivia Newton-John was an ICE agent. I mean, he was Deadpool for F's sake. Deadpool. How now he's just dead to me. How did Ryan Reynolds react to this random people to him on social media who called him out like this? He started following him. When Jared told me this, I was like, no, I'm going to go and check if it's the real Ryan Reynolds. And it is. The real Ryan Reynolds started following this guy after he said these horrible things about him. Why did he do that? How sick are you when you do something like that? How manipulative are you? What I really love here is that Jared was like, I don't care, dude. I still don't like you. And he called him out in a post saying, is Ryan Reynolds going to try and sue me, or is he in need of some budget interior DIY advice? What the actual F? Totally. What the actual F? I wonder if more people have experienced this, that Ryan Reynolds starts following them after they call him out, saying that he's a horrible person. I'm sure he's doing his own social media. And now I'm sure he's spending a lot of time online. He knows everything going on. He's reading all the comments. He is obsessed with his own image. And stuff like this really, really bothers him. And what's interesting about this person didn't comment on a post or a reel that Ryan Reynolds posted himself. He posted this on his own Instagram and Ryan found it. Creepy. Someone also sent me Ryan Reynolds' bio on LinkedIn. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's pretty telling. He says about himself on LinkedIn, I've been acting for 3 decades now, which might be described as a proven track record or delivering consistent results on LinkedIn. I'm currently on a sabbatical to spend time with family and attempting being a 9 to 5 professional. So he's saying here that it's voluntarily that he's on a sabbatical. I'm not 100% sure of that. Anyways, he says, in recent years, I've built what the Wall Street Journal recently called a business empire. Still trying to figure out what they meant by that. Really? And he says, my skills include writing, rewriting. Yes, we know that you love to rewrite, Ryan, and then you're pretending that it was your wife's writing. Anyways, he says he also has skills including tweeting, mixing cocktails, backed engineer for software platforms, and watching lower tier Welsh football matches. Proficiency ranges from excellent to absolutely awful. Yeah, I would go with absolutely awful. Anyways, let's talk about Megan Thuy for a second. She's the journalist who wrote the hit piece on Justin Baldoni and all the others involved in this lawsuit. She's also responsible for adding me into that article without contacting me first, asking me if any of the allegations or insinuations that they were going to print were true. So now Megan Thuy has posted on her own Instagram an interview with herself talking about what an amazing reporter she is and how she's worked for the New York Times for 10 years. Just listen to this and keep in mind how the New York Times got all that information that they based the article on. We can bury anyone.
The world has changed so much in the 10 years that I've been here, but to feel like I'm at an institution that's like really grounded in its commitment to facts and its commitment to reporting without fear or favor. I became a better reporter. I became a better writer. I became a better journalist all around, not just by tackling kind of new and challenging subjects, but also by the kind of high standards that the New York Times applies, I think forces us all to just constantly be getting better and better and better.
Yes, it's amazing to be part of an institution grounded in its commitment to facts, the high standards that the New York Times applies to their reporting. I mean, as I mentioned before, it's quite interesting how Megan Thuy buried Blake Lively. Her intent with the article was to bury Justin Baldoni, but she ended up burying Blake Lively. And her goal was also to show what an excellent reporter she is and maybe even hope for another Pulitzer Prize. But instead, she just made people not trust New York Times reporting anymore. So to throw it back at Megan Thuy, exactly what she did to me, insinuating that I was part of a smear campaign because I had a video with a hashtag saying justice for Johnny Depp. That was what she based her reporting on, putting me into that article. So that would be the same as for me to insinuate very, very strongly here on my channel that Megan Thuy was paid by Blake Lively, but I would just add allegedly afterwards. But still, I would just plant that seed in everyone's minds because that really fits my narrative. Now I can just establish random cherry-picked facts to support that theory and then say it out loud to everyone that's listening here. Maybe I'll just find a hashtag somewhere to support my theory, and then I can show a picture of Megan Thuy here saying it's very likely that she was paid by Blake Lively to smear me and to smear Justin Baldoni. But then I'll just add again, allegedly. So I wonder what it feels like for Megan Thuy when someone questions your integrity as a journalist, especially coming from another journalist, and you're accusing the person of being corrupt. And keep in mind, this also happened during Christmas for me. So I commented on Megan Thuy's post asking her a question, and now I'm waiting for her to respond to me. So I said this: as one of the people you're reporting publicly insinuated was part of a coordinated smear campaign without ever contacting me for comment, I have a very different view on what good journalism looks like. Accuracy doesn't end when a story fits the narrative. It begins with giving the people you're writing about a chance to respond. So, Megan, I'm giving you a chance to respond to this. And I will read your response out here loud on my channel. Anyway, let's get into something even more messed up, which is Jared Leto. But before we get into that, I wanted to thank the sponsor of this video, Factor Meals. For me, eating healthy is not really about willpower, it is about convenience. On busy days like this, when I do my research, I do my recordings, I do all the editing, the last thing I want to do is to plan what to have for dinner. That's why I really love Factor. Factor delivers fully prepared, dietitian designed meals right to your door. So for you, it's no meal planning, no grocery shopping, and no cooking. You just heat them up in 2 minutes and they're done. Whatever your goal is, if it is weight loss, better overall nutrition, more protein, or even GLP-1 support, Factor has meals designed for that. They even have a Muscle Pro collection if you're focused on strength and recovery. One of my favorites is their grilled chicken with vegetables. You can never go wrong with that. High protein, tastes good, and keep me full for a really long time. What really impressed me is that the meals are fresh, never frozen, with more than 100 rotating options every single week. They're all made with real nutrition-dense ingredients, lean proteins, colorful vegetables, and healthy fats. No artificial colors, no sweeteners, no high fructose corn syrup, and no refined seed oils. If you're like me and you're looking for a way to eat healthier without spending hours in the kitchen, I would definitely check out Factor Meals. Just head to factormeals.com/flaw50off and use code flaw50off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box, with new subscriptions only while supplies last until September 27 of 2026. See website for more details. Okay, so let's get back into it. To me, this story about Jared Leto just proves again how Hollywood operates. We've known stories similar to what's coming out now about Jared Leto for a really long time. But people still wanted to be around him and people still wanted to work with him, and his career was still blossoming. So now BBC has made a documentary where 10 women came forward and talked about their experiences with Jared Leto, and 9 of them are speaking publicly for the first time. 4 of them are accusing Jared Leto of conduct. I can't say all these words here on my channel. From when they were teenagers. All of these incidents happened between 2002 and 2016. So the latest incident happened about 10 years ago. And it seems like the BBC did their due diligence here. They didn't just interview these women, they were looking at text messages, photographs, interviewed friends and relatives of these women, and they had testimonies from former associates and employees of Jared Leto. 2 of these male assistants described situations where they were asked to bring young female fans backstage to Jared Leto. And now all of a sudden this story is getting picked up everywhere. And Page 6 did a story today where they have spoken to someone who used to work for Jared Leto. And their headline here is "The Dark Truth Behind Working with Horrible Jared Leto, No Soul Behind His Eyes." There is something about Jared Leto's eyes. He has a way of staring that is really scary to me. There is definitely something in his eyes that is not right. And here they have an insider speaking out about this, saying Jared Leto is allegedly horrible to work with behind the scenes, according to a former colleague. He is not a good guy. There is no soul behind his eyes. An insider who once toured with the 32nd to Mars frontman exclusively told Page 6 on Wednesday, following the release of the explosive BBC documentary. He was a horrible vibe while working with him, and he made people uncomfortable. It was really hard to talk to him, if he even tried to talk to us. The source here also said that Leto had several extreme requests for his crew members, like asking assistants to hold open doors and hold his cape for him, tasks that one could easily do themselves. I feel like that's all celebrities, by the way. You put yourself above everyone else and expect everyone to worship you. And if they don't, you just fire them and then you hire someone else who's willing to do that. But anyways, people who have known him for years have also said that he's very problematic with women. If everyone in the industry knows there was going to be a day of reckoning for him. Page Six has reached out to Leto's rep and nothing there. I just looked at his Instagram and now he has limited comments on his Instagram. Surprise, surprise. But of course, a lot of fans are out there defending him. That's what happens every time in these cases. People get blinded by celebrities. They can't believe that their idol or someone they really like did something wrong. And I've spoken about this many times before, how people identify themselves with celebrities. So when you attack the celebrity, it's like you're attacking them personally as well. So I'm not surprised that that is happening with Jared Leto as well. Anyways, I haven't watched the entire documentary yet, but I've seen parts of it. And, there are also women who are going on the record here. And there are so many women. I feel like every time if there's one person coming out, it's much harder to believe it before we have really hard evidence. But when there are 10 women, Leto has denied all the allegations, obviously, and said that he had never SA'd anyone in his entire life. The problem for him here is that a lot of these girls are underage. And that is criminal. So even though they did this voluntarily, if he knew that they were underage, or if they just were underage, I don't know exactly how the law is there, if they lied to him and said they were older, but it doesn't seem like that's the case here. It seems like he knew the age of these 16-year-old, 17-year-old women before he slept with them. And you have to remember, Jared Leto is 54 now. So when this happened about 10 years ago, he was a 44-year-old man. There is also a story of someone called Etta, that's not her real name. She spoke out in the documentary claiming that Leto groomed her when she was only 16 years old. And she claims that he made several explicit phone calls to her in 2014 before trying to get her to sign a non-disclosure agreement 2 years later, which she refused. And the BBC reported that they reviewed the alleged NDA along with other documents to support the allegations against Leto. I will definitely keep an eye on this case as well. I don't know if there are any criminal charges yet. If any of these women wants to go after him in court, I applaud all women who are willing to stand up for themselves, but also I totally understand if they don't. Anyway, that's it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support. Please keep sending me a lot of tips. As you know, I could not do this show if it wasn't for you guys. So if you haven't subscribed yet, also please do and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of Flawsome Talk. And I'll see you soon. Bye.
Yeah, we flawsome talk.